Okay then, as per usual, from the start screen, we'll be doing, if we haven't already done day 10, yeah, we'll be doing day 11 now. So, we just got the shooter, who is actually a HE, not a war, is how you pronounce that one, but no, he's actually a HE class with a war weapon, magic bullet. And yeah, mostly his armor is the best thing about him, I think, because the weapon is situational in some cases. Also, yeah, we actually do have to do some adjustments. We can't just leave that on empty. There has to be at least someone in there. So we'll be moving Tom up, putting Romy in, give him a quick piece of equipment. Hold on. So they do black damage. So I'm thinking we should probably equip them with as much black resistance as possible if they're actually going to attempt to work with the anomaly. They're probably not going to actually work with the anomaly though, simply because you don't want to reduce the counter of this guy, and he doesn't have a very big counter. It's generous enough at 3, but when it is reduced to 0, yeah, when the work result is bad, it also has a pretty high probability of actually lowering. When the cooldown count hits 0, the Freyshits willfully fired a bullet towards a random location. Yeah, and that last one, when he finally hits his meltdown, it can potentially be even worse than someone who's basically escaped, because it can just be an insta-kill. When the work result was normal, it was lowered with normal probability, so you have to get good results as well. Which means, in his case, you're most likely going to have someone who has at least repression 3 to be able to really work on it. So, yeah, in fact, when it's even lower than 3, for example, it lowers. It's guaranteed. So you have to have a minimum. Unless you want bad things. The bullets that Freyshits can penetrate and damage anything. Furthermore, it's the Freyshit 7 bullet will not fire when you desire. Yeah, there's also another one here. If you use up 10% of the day's energy, which is quite expensive later on, you can actually fire a bullet wherever you want, up to 7 times. Well, up to 6 times, and on the 7th bullet, obviously, it won't go where you want. It will just be a random shot. The most optimal usage of him, essentially being when you get everyone into one area, possibly an elevator, so that they can quickly move. On the 7th shot, if you are actually using him like that, then that should save their life. We've got 41 lobotomy points saved, which is quite nice. Depending on how today goes, we might actually be using that lobotomy points to boost her repression work to 3, because she's got pretty low repression work. But if I can get her training it somehow, because I can do cross-department training, she could potentially do it in while she is, but again, we want her attachment work to be max. She actually doesn't have glasses, so I think the best option might be to send her up there. So we'll get Elysia to do that. We'll get the newest player to get some sanity points first, just to give them a little bit more resistance. Anyone got? Yep, Casey has got 1. Open Calamile she uses going to be putting Tom on instinct work. And reminding ourselves that I think it's Fortitude 1 and Temperance 1 that they must have. Attachment work was performed. Employees with Temperance 1 may turn their head back. There will be changes to so it's Temperance 1 and is it also... No, it's just Temperance 1 I believe. The bath is Fortitude based. So... we don't have to work her, so we won't. We do have the bath to work with though. Agent is en route. Really? I don't know. And yeah. Today we might get an upgraded ordeal. I'm not looking forward to it, but we might. We'll have a talk about the training department in a bit. But they help you out with the training. As long as they're in that department, any amount of training that they do is, it gives them more. So, for example, if they're working repression work on this guy here, then they'll train faster, they'll get higher level faster, which is good. Which is why, ultimately, you want to get this one first to maximise on the benefit that you can receive. Maximise on your returns, basically. Keep on sending Justin in there. Keyboard is a little bit dodgy, so we gave him some insight. We'll give him some work speed now. We'll keep on sending Elysia to do attachment work. We want her to have full attachment work essentially. We're not being hyper efficient here, which is fine, I guess. We'll send a case here and there to get some fortitude. I think kind of wild she is. But yeah, we won't be touching her or him if we can help it, because there's no point. Messing with her essentially just causes her to meltdown. She's, in hindsight, she's not that great. An ordeal. I think the orange ordeal is not terrible. I know that green is doubt. I know that purple is the blossoms. I know that I think red is cheer. This could be the cheering one. We shall see soon. And Justin can get a little bit on there. You know, generally balance them out, you know. Where is she at? Yeah. She's working hard. Our best employee, Elisa. She's lost a bit of sanity, but that's fine. Right, the meltdown is about to occur. I should probably have waited until Elysia was available, but it doesn't particularly matter. Perfect foods. Yeah, these guys. These guys, these are fine. I know these guys. So if you haven't noticed the pattern yet, every department gets these. Every department gets one. If each department is competent enough to handle their own emergency, that's good. If they're not, well, sucks to be you. I think these guys can handle it, but preference is that I can just roll through all of the same big group. I'll send them there. don't want to expose them to too much risk if I can help it. More risk the worse. Almost all of them have got glasses in there. And they should be able to mount them. No, don't run into them. Well, that's one down. But as you can see... Where's she at? What a ninja. But she can actually probably handle that situation on her lonesome. She's that good. Yeah, she's got this. And that's the beauty of having really powerful employees that can just solo. Satisfying. Thought I told them to go up there. These corridors here at the very beginning of the game are absolute death traps. Like, these are dead ends. You might not think it because you could just go there, right? But they are. So I've gotten a fair amount of runs which have ended because of these corridors in particular. Okay. Seems to be doing well so far. Of course, she won't care at all. Now we can just recall these departments here. And probably send Justin to get one. We also do want to be taking a care to try and get the wrist cutter stuff on them. The accessory from her is pretty important. Should actually be enough for the day. It is. Well, we'll just quickly get through his. Wow, that went actually quite terribly. What on earth? That was unlucky. Yep, one promoted, everyone lived, etc. All good. Void Dream. Please eat my dreams. Spiderbutt. Unsurprisingly, not a single employee volunteered to retrieve the corpse of their cocoon colleague. Rudolta of the Sleigh. I don't like them, and I've got their gifts anyway. I've got Spiderbutt's gifts. But Void Dream. We also have to consider, you know, this is going to be going into the training department, so I do like Void Dream. I do like Void Dream quite a bit. This is a difficult decision. I think we've got enough attachment things now, because Void Dream is attachment based as far as I can remember, and we just don't need another attachment focused one. Plus, when they breach, and they do breach, they can potentially be an issue. Rarely, but they can. We're going to go to Spider-Bud because I think they're fortitude based. Wow. And humble too. Secretly jealous. This is what all people who are like that think. Everyone thinks that others are just jealous of them as justification. Yes, it's not quite true. It's also a pretty weak rationalization. Very low effort. Work success rate. It's an eyepiece, which means it doesn't interfere with the other work success. Well, I think it does actually. Hold on. You would imagine, obviously, that Grandma here is giving eyepieces too. Yeah, she is. So, not the best that we could have gotten. But I wasn't totally aware. It could be an alternative source. As you can see, they are very fortitude based. They are only a TEF. I thought they were slightly higher, but they are TEF. Prudence level 1. Squash the spiderlings. The spider-bud turn knows who harvest its children into cocoons. When clearing the unit as part of inside work, Adam was quickly turned into a cocoon. Spider-Bud's cocoons produce PE boxes. Additional cocoons mean a greater number of PE boxes produced. Yeah, but we don't want to be sacrificing our employees to gain more PE boxes, unless we was at like the end of the game, essentially. Employees with prudence level 1. So generally, if they're low prudence, don't put them in there, and don't do insight work, and you're fine. Slightly restricting, which is unfortunate. They are an unescaping entity, which I didn't think that they were. Got that story here. That's their story. I think we should take someone who's a bit wimpy and put them in there now. They've got high prudence. Honestly, I think Justin might be a decent pick there. We'll raise... Looking at it. Them. And we'll hire a new employee. Their hair looks nice. Pansy. I like Pansy. We said that we was going to strengthen her, which I usually don't do. But in this particular case, it's just nice to have access to someone who's got like repression level 3, so that they can start their work on this guy. It's not critical that we actually do that, but in the event that he melts down or something, it's nice to have. Plus, he has 18 PE boxes, which is high. The greatest ordeal is new. We didn't kit them out, but to be honest, it doesn't matter overly much. Yeah, this is Spider Boy in there. We send in Justin, he'll do fine. As long as they don't have insight, prudence 1, that'll be fine. Yeah, you can make the request there. It doesn't cost an employee. We'll send Elysia to test the water. Or do we? I don't feel that she's entirely safe to do so. So this could be a risk. Is this going to be our first restart? We will see. Pansy. Get them some repression work. Actually, don't do it in that one. Do it on him, because he's safe. What am I doing? Pansy. Not insight. Attachment. Wait a minute. Does Romy have... No, they're even. Okay, I guess we send Nox in. I'm not looking forward to this risk, but we're gonna take it. We're gonna work on getting Tom a bit beefed. Everyone's mostly got work assignments now. We're gonna very quickly go through this day. They do have a nice number of P boxes. Oh god. Thank you. Yes, you'll live. That's bad. How are you a common result? That was almost perfect. Yeah, see, this is why it's an advantage to just kind of have access to someone who can actually do something about that, you know what I mean? Repression work is also great. High repression will make them run incredibly fast, which is very useful in a micro game. I believe it also increases their attack speed or work speed, one of the two. But it is useful. Not quite as useful as attachment work in my opinion. In terms of combat though, attachment is useless. In terms of combat, repression is much more useful. This is perfect. We could probably just abuse this. Gives quite a lot of P boxes. And we can abuse him to get high endurance, should I say. We shall make Tom for that, and we shall give a bit of sanitation. Same ordeal as it was yesterday, so it's not too much of a problem. Repression work, really easier now. The problem with doing high yield, I mean it does train her quite nicely, yes, but you're putting all your eggs in one basket instead of spreading out the workload and getting more stats. So you shouldn't feel too alarmed about doing low yield boxes, because ultimately the total amount of boxes that you do is still there. You do more work unless you get more strong employees. At first that's important usually if you want to kind of cheese the game. If you don't care about that though, I think we'll send them in. Everyone on standby. There we go. This should be simple enough. They will handle that, no problem. We want to avoid any anomalies which basically get angry with the employee loss count. Like these little dudes here, dying in the hallway would usually be no problem at all, right? They're basically just chaff employees. But there are some anomalies which will breach if you let too many of them die, which is a massive problem. In fact, one of the A-lifts does that, which is a slight spoiler, I suppose, but I can't remember exactly which A-lift it was. There's also some pretty damn nasty high-tier ones which will do it too. And to be honest, I think they're one of the most annoying ones in the game, because you can hardly prevent those employees dying. It's really hard to keep them all alive. So it basically means a breach on a day is inevitable. So we will be trying to avoid any of those abnormalities if we can. Oh, if we can. Unless of course they're weenies, in which case we don't need to worry about it. They'll live, I'm sure. I'm confident. I'm not even going to zoom in. Right, we're done. Like I said, we could work more to get more stats. But I'm not even going to bother, really. We don't have to min-max that way. Child of the Galaxy is not too bad, I don't think. This is new. The day a ripe apple fell off the tree in the garden where the princess and the king stood, the witch's heart shattered. This is a new one to me, and we're going to probably take that, and I hope that it's not going to be too awful. This could be Little Red Riding Hood. We'll see what happens. Hopefully I didn't make a terrible mistake. Who's to say I did? Well, 10 regular people isn't necessarily as much as 1 smart people. Yeah, I mean, even a child can do that. A monkey can lie. Yeah, well, we'll see when we get the information. There's some intrigue going on here, so not everything is on the up and up, unfortunately. Right. The colour red means untruth. Now there's a twist here, which I won't tell you. Okay, so we actually don't have any information at all about this abnormality. See, I've played this game for quite a while, but, you know, I don't have all of the abnormality information, as we know. I have none of the A-lift abnormality information unlocked, which might be because I did at some point, but I managed to wipe the save, because I would have had stuff like Blue Heart, for example. But no. We're just going to have to deal. Typically, I don't like touching abnormalities that I have no knowledge of, because you never know what will happen. I mean, there's no perfect candidate to send in. Even if you send in a super trooper, they can be instant killed by some abnormalities. So, yeah, we're going to play it a little bit. I mean, we don't have to play it particularly safe simply because I'll just restart the day, to be honest. I think I have had this one before. They look familiar. But yeah, we're gonna try out instinct work first. See, it's just trial and error. Could hit a landmine for all we know. She deals black damage, she deals a lot of black damage. She's dealing too much black damage. Elysia isn't handling that too well. Looks like she has a pretty large PE box. Probably an 18 at least. Is she gonna die? Is she gonna make? No, she's gonna die. She's gonna die. Unless she gets very lucky, but she's gonna die. She's gonna die. No. Oh my god. Oh my. Oh, that was tight. But, that's interesting. Oh. Oh. This is a nice way to start the day. And she teleports. Okay. So, black damage, area of effect, seems to stand still. Okay. Who's got a long range weapon? Yeah, you look very happy about that. I imagine so. Do you have a long range weapon? You have the screaming wedge, so yes. We will try to safely ship. But looks like they're taking white damage. Oh shit! Shit! Oh shit! Okay. So yeah, this is the kind of shit which is like, you can't do anything about this. This is just part of the game. They will breach. They will destroy your employees. Is there any other special effects to this one? I mean, it looks like the roots are just growing at this point. So if you were to have a long-range weapon, are those roots still active? It looks like the roots remain active even when they leave the ruin, which is a big problem. But they don't kill anyone. But I bet you now if they teleport back in there, that will still work. We're just going to be trying to get as much information out of this as we can at first. So what I think of this one is, since these roots only grow so fast, if you get a really long range weapon and stand at the opposing side, you might be able to get a few free shots. Probably a rocket launcher or long range. And you just chip away at arrows you can. I don't know if she goes back to her containment after a certain amount of time. Test that one out before resetting the day. She doesn't appear to be going back to her containment unit. But no, she deals black damage, she decimates the corridors. She deals quite a bit of damage actually. Yep, the roots are still there. The roots are still there. And yeah, she'll just teleport around the facility doing all that. She has a... Wait. Is she going back? No? The music just changed, I guess. The thing is, if you want to end the day perfectly, you have to actually get these things back into containment. But you can end the day with them escaped. So that's unfortunate. This is the first time that we've had to do that. Sometimes you just have to, though. The game encourages that kind of stuff. I mean, there's nothing that you can do. It's not skill-based or anything like that. You just have to throw stuff at it until you know what it does. So we'll try insight work at this point. We know that it does black damage. We know that it has very low patience. Doesn't look like this is going to be fantastic either. Just not being too great. I think we got a result of 9 last time. So insight looks like it's slightly better, although statistics and all that, it might not be. -4 again, probably not a great result. We're going to assume that the kill-off counter is actually just 1 if that immediately breaches. Didn't immediately breach. That's a -4% work rate. How this works is whenever you do the full bar, it will reset these, and I think it also resets the quick-off counter itself. Right now though, she's not breaching, she's not doing anything, so the first tip. So when the work result was normal, it reduced with a normal probability. Yeah, she has low patience. I'm pretty sure she has low patience. And I think I just got unlucky last time. It reduced it. So we're going to actually not touch her again today unless she gets a meltdown, in which case we have to. Repression work we'll do that in a minute. Justin can do his instinct. Repression work. They can do that. Instinct, they can do that. They can do that. Tom can do that. Yeah, a bit nasty. Probably wouldn't stand up much against late game gear. I'm gonna say either HE, yeah, as you can see, or she's war class, but I don't think she's ALF. She's not close to ALF. That was convenient. I don't know if I'm stupid enough to take another risk in the middle of the day because it wastes time. If you're going to take any risks, you don't do it in the middle of the day. After you've already taken risks, made progress, etc. Black damage does red and white damage. It's a combination of both. I think that as a result of it doing both, that it does a reduced amount to both of the bars. But if they're weak to white, but they're very strong in red, you know, it's a weakness that can be exploited. So if you keep a balance of both, it makes it a bit easier. You can also use shield bullets, I suppose. Use a black shield bullet to get her done. But ultimately, she'll still breach. And you can also use shield bullets to tank her, I suppose. So we're going to have to look at the gear afterwards. Justin. Elysium. easier. It's at this point in the game where it basically becomes unavoidable. You will absolutely encounter ordeals. No exception, really. Worms. So yeah, we'll send them to clear the worms up. The worms don't get any stronger. You know, they're always as low tier as that. Which means we can even send stuff like them. And it should be fine. As you can see, the wedge is pretty good. At least against anything which is weak to white damage. Mouse is playing up a little bit. You gonna be okay? Yeah. Bit rough though. Yeah, it's just they've got too powerful weapons right now. We'll work on getting the newbies set up. Oh. Yeah, she's pissed. So she's out of commission for today. Have to do a bit of clearing. What? Man, they gone. 10% of 210, so 21 should be enough. No, it's not. Or is it? I don't think it is. Wow, these guys are annoying. Although we should probably send someone, you. The other dudes shouldn't really be doing that either. That was a bit dangerous of us. And yeah, that's it. We're done. So it was one off like I believed. Oh, you did. I told you to do that. The one that slows you down is your weakest link, so some pansy in there. Man, they just look so sarcastic. They just love their job, man. I like Pansy. They've got the most personality out of all the workers so far. And I'll love their job soon anyway. Okay. Next, circus performer. This is the tool. Skin Prophecy. Yeah, none of these tools particularly matter. The one you want to look out for is the train, because that one has to be micromanaged, essentially. Although the train, if you're actually taking care of it, is a pretty big boon, because you know, it's free facility heals. You just have someone stand in the station, and don't forget about it, basically. And that's it. You just got a global heal. It's worth having if you can manage that. Do you remember this melody? None of these tools look particularly amazing to me. I'll take the Crazed Researcher. Be a Bear brand beer. Wow. I wonder what that even tastes like. Are you going to sabotage the company? Or you ever harm me? As you can see, that's red. I have had the researcher's notes before. That one should have been obvious. I think these ones are slightly beneficial. Those who equip the notes from a crazed researcher will benefit from a sharp increase in stats related to temperance. If ordered to return the notes from the crazed researcher within 30 seconds of equipping them, the user's skin will start to swell and their body will explode. If ordered to return the notes from the crazed researcher without performing any sort of managerial work, the user will explode. If the user receives a certain amount of damage, they will explode, and the explosion will cover the entire section. The explosion will deal massive red damage to all nearby. So, this one's more for the passive. The passive worker. So if you don't want a combative worker, either because they have bad stats for it, or you just don't have the equipment, you pick this up and they'll be able to work better because it boosts the temperance a lot, which is very useful. In fact, this is probably one of the more useful ones when you're dealing with aleph, because you want as much success rate as you can. And obviously it doesn't matter. If they don't breach, combat doesn't matter. The amount of damage that they take does matter, because obviously it says if they take a certain amount of damage, they will explode. I think this also applies to damage that they receive when they're actually studying the anomaly. So you might want to think about that one. But yeah, we're good. Still good. Elysia is doing well. She's got good stats all around. She's even got Justice 5 now. So she went from Justice 3 to Justice 5 in a very short amount of time. It's not maxed, but it is getting there. We're going to look at the ego list. So, information team. Our strongest weapons. Hypocrisy from the tree, when you can get it, is absolutely amazing. It's very long range. Normal speed, 1 to 10 red damage. I love it. You always want to have that on as many people as possible. The matching suit is also fantastic. Generally, for white damage, it's fantastic. You actually use that suit to do some of the higher level white damage anomalies, and it will get you by very easily. We want a black damage shield though. Which is that one? Black damage because she's working with the fairy tale anomaly, I suppose. Yeah, that's magic bullets as well. Magic bullet can also work. In fact, it's probably better. So we'll give them that. Can his be improved? White damage, black damage. Anything in here? probably give him that. But yeah, this is where we start to get some pretty cool stuff on him. Feather of Honor, etc. It's all cool. I think some of these might, yeah. Heal a small amount of SP to employees in the same area every so often. So just by wearing the suit, if he's in a group, he deals area of effect white damage to his, well, he heals area of effect white damage. So these suits at these tiers and their special abilities are actually extremely useful. And you should definitely equip them as soon as you can. Not all of them have abilities though, unfortunately, but this one, the Hypocrisy. Where you get this from, it's from the tree, from a tree I believe. It's slightly difficult to get because he's a bit of a bastard to take care of, but once you get his stuff, it's great, it's fantastic. It's worth the suffering. And yeah, max and minimum attack power +3 when the weapon from the same abnormality is equipped. You know what? We do have some good weapons as well. Yeah, we'll do it. And she's basically our super trooper right now. She can't kill everything, obviously, but she does a bloody good job. Solemn Lament, all of these perfectly good. Long range. 25 chance to make the target more vulnerable to white. Like, this is actually a very important weapon to have. At least one of them. Because it does actually reduce the damage, it reduces the defense against white damage, which makes some anomalies possible to kill when they otherwise wouldn't be. With white damage at least. Do we want her to get up in their face? Well, if she does, that ain't a bad suit. I can't see what that is. Something level 3 at least. I think it's Prudence. I don't know, but we want to get those on them. And yeah, we definitely want to get A-left gear as soon as we can. Otherwise, we don't want anyone to be terribly weak to anything. We'll give them a decent piece of armor. But for now, yeah, that's good. That's all fine. Pansy doesn't have anything yet. Boss Splinter, always nice to have. One of the advantages of white damage, increase weapon damage by 30%. Yeah, this is a very glass cannon weapon. It does huge amounts of white damage, and it even increases the damage by 30% by consuming 10% of the actual HP that they have, as long as they have 10% of their HP left. It's really big damage, but it's not something that we want to be putting on the low levels, because, you know, we'll just kill them really, really fast. Life for a Daredevil is a sword, which requires Justice 2, which is pretty good. Doesn't have any special ability, but it's pale, and not many things can resist that. You want to try and find ones with, yeah, can cause additional white damage to the target for a certain amount of time. So it just like stacks up over time, but it's restricted. Reduces the movement speed. Yeah, there's no reason not to have a ton of these, because they slow, and having a slow is critical. There's no requirements to put on this fantastic piece of armor, so we will. And yeah, let's get to it. 52 ego points. And yeah. We good. Right, so we are going to continue our essential kamikaze research of this. This time doing attachment. Please work. I think it's attachment. If it's not attachment, it has to be justice. Otherwise it's got some weird, annoying requirement. Yeah, that was not too good. That went horribly. No, it's definitely not attachment. Absolutely not. Oh, that's awful. So, no way in hell is it attachment. Insight's been our best result so far. We'll try repression work. And as you can see, she also walks quite quickly, which is fantastic. Do like that. Repression seems to be responding well. Good. Oh yeah, repression is actually doing really well. But is there anything else that we have to think about? That's the question. And she is super bummed out by this. That was a good result. I doubt they're going to breach. You never know with these things. Give it some time. No breach arena. Okay. Basic information. I think the best bet is to get the managerial tips first. When the work result is terrible, it goes with high probability, so that's normal. Unless it's good, I don't think then it's guaranteed not to decrease. Escape from containment, it begins to spread its roots and branches along the ground. Those withered vines slowed employees, hampering their movement. They also, generally hurt. Yep, so we do a repression work on it. That's simple enough. That we know of. We're gonna probably be working her to death now. Doing as much repression work on her as possible. We might have to restart the day, but who knows. Minus 40% to the success rate is, we're risking it every time. As long as we can get a good result, we'll be fine. Might be a good result, hopefully. This will be down to 8% next, so we won't be working her again. Just increasing the odds for a disaster at that point. Is it gonna pop? Well, before it pops. Bit cheaty there, but once the air was completely filled, it moved to another. When it eventually was suppressed, its flora did not disappear until the next day. So, it's definitely good until the next day. Doesn't damage, but it's not very good. Oh. But yeah, we got lucky. We got 9 points, so we should be able to pick that. Yeah, it was very specific. It very specifically wants Justice 5, which we have. So, yeah, good times. He's getting pretty strong. And now we just carry on as normal, I guess. Lobotomy. Everyone's working. Except for Elysia. We're probably going to do it again as soon as we get this the first Queel-off counter down. Yeah, there we go. Repression 5 again. She shouldn't breach unless we're very unlucky. Non-breaching. This is why it's nice to have success rates stacked up, so that when it starts to lower every time, you don't have to worry, because you've already got like plus like 20 or some absurd number. There is a combination of gear in the game, for example, that just can completely negate white damage. Even makes white damage just heal you. They get pretty damn absurd later on in the game. Oh, come on. Yeah, thank you. We'll do him. It's not important that we do that, but it would be nice. I kind of want to give her some more hit points because she's not got a massive amount of hit points. Look how fast she goes now. She's like... Phew. That's why you just gotta have high justice. She's like Judge Dredd or something. Oh. Oh, what the? Oh. That's not good. You stunned. Well, she's not insane, but... Don't die. Okay, so I think she's savable. That's white. This dude's white, this dude's white. Good. So... I think you can actually save some employees when they go apeshit or panic. That is, when their sanity reaches a critical level, by hitting them with white damage. But I don't think that always works for everyone. I can't remember the insanity mechanics too well. I just know that some of them can be saved or turned back. No, we basically just want to... Can you even do? I mean, you can do attachment, right? There's no reason that they can't. Right? Insight. No? You can totally sweet talk the spider, so okay. Another way that we could have potentially saved them if they were going to go insane. We could have just put him in there and his suit would heal them. Just fine. They'll be fine. Positive. Yeah, they're going to be fine. One of the lovely things about the Screaming Wedge is that it pierces. Same as Hypocrisy, I believe. Or maybe Hypocrisy is just fast. Might just be fast in that case. Deals very high damage though. Go deal deal with Grams before she goes insane. Well, that changed our mind. I think we just send in that team, the elites, the death squad. They clean that up. Look at them. Oh yeah, that's one reason we don't want her being around other people. Please tell me. Yeah, look at it. He took one shot. So we don't want her to be around anyone else. I remember that. Yeah, big damage, man. Just look at how much he messed that dude up. And yeah, we'll give her a bit more HP. Make it even more nuts than she already is. Why wouldn't you do such a thing? I don't want to do that actually. I should have actually sent them to do more work on her, think about it. So she's got common on these two. Meaning if you're feeling particularly risky with a late game character, you could train them. But by the point that they need training, they should already have what they need. We just didn't have a really easy suppression route, if I'm going to be honest. We might have been able to pick someone for suppression training, but Beauty and the Beast might have been the one. All we had to do is get level 3. As soon as we get level 3, they train on him. Easy. Easy, right? You know what? I just want one more. Give me one. I can take one more. Just because I want this. She should be fine, to be honest. The worst thing that could happen at this point is that she gets a common result, then she also gets a bad roll, and it decides that it wants to breach, which is kind of my luck, to be honest. But yeah, we just want more and more stuff. That gives us more work success as well. So by this point, we've basically solidified the fact that we're going to be farming this anomaly. Next we get the basic information unlocked, and that one gets unlocked and we're good. So we've got 3% probability on whatever that is, so yeah. S rank, everyone's good, 2 promoted, all good. But yeah, you can see just how powerful that gun is on her. Unfortunately, it's not the most powerful gun in the game, so eventually it just kind of... I know what that is. He's not hard, but he's not fantastic. The red shoes, I do not like them. They often result in employees getting completely boned. The Snow Queen we have done before. We've got her parts. I think as much as we probably don't like it, we might want to go for the Scarecrow. He's an insight worker. We could go for the red. It's a non-breaching entity, but what happens is it's an awkward one to deal with. I think we'll try and deal with the awkward one against my better judgment. A rodent, huh? That's ominous. But yep, that's the training team done. Now we go and see a fan favourite, Netsack, in charge of the Netsack team. Yeah, we don't actually have access to that at the moment. We won't have access to that until we're done this day, but I'm going to end it on this point, on the start of day 15. And yeah.